Hello and welcome to Comics Solving Problems. I'm Stephen Allen.
And I'm Eric McElroy. Hello. Good evening, good day, good afternoon, good morgan. It's very nice to see you all here on a show where we, as comics, solve problems. Although this week, I don't know if we've made more problems than we've been meant to solve, because I'm pretty sure I told you, Steve, that I couldn't do a show this week, but that's fine. We're piling on, and we're very glad to be here with you all. So please make sure to subscribe to the channel, make sure to do the likey button, and as always, as you do every week, just pound that Ko-fi button, pound that motherfucker hard. So it just keeps us going, keeps us in this style that we've become accustomed to. And so, yeah. So there we go.
Yes, you're right. I forgot you sent an email and you couldn't do it, and I will apologize for that. But while you're here, let's just do it. Let's just get stuck into some of the stuff that's been happening in this week's news. And I don't know why there's one news story that caught my eye more than others. First, we can turn to the Daily Telegraph. They went with this story. Lawyer supporting Matt Hancock slips up in GB News interview over WhatsApp leak. Jonathan Code forced to apologise after on-air clash over the lockdown files. And look, there's loads that we could say about the lockdown files. You know, the thing that these files were leaked by, well, Matt Hancock. So very much the equivalent of that thing where you punch yourself in the face. So, you know, obviously there's much to be said. In fact, my newspaper column that will be out all over the shop is all about Matt Hancock. Not a big fan. You know, obviously we've got previous beef, what with my folks being in a care home and whatnot. So I'm interested in this stuff. And the way that the Independent covered this story, lawyer apologises for furious rant after GB News reveals he was asked to represent Hancock. I take it back. And oh, look at that picture down the bottom. Oh, that's interesting.
What is that picture? Can you...
Well, we don't need to zoom in on it because we have the Daily Mail.
Oh, look at that!
Yeah, this is getting awkward now, isn't it? Look, there's a handsome young chap.
It looks like they've stolen our layout, by the way.
Yeah,
the way they've got two people on screen.
Sure, they paid more than we did for it.
Well, look at you.
So are you saying that looks a little bit like I've got a new co-host these days? Started out just doing internet stuff with Eric, and then look, there's some other guys getting in there, Skyping down.
I wish our early days looked as good as he did there.
Yeah. And then this news story also gets covered in none other than my Daily Star. Oh,
what?
Even if I did a Daily Star review, we'd still end up covering this. Matt Hancock aid in worst nightmare ever as yikes mistake has GB News howling. So many of those words don't actually really make sense about that, but
yeah.
So I was there for it, and I don't know if you saw what happened, but have you seen it?
Yes, I have seen it. It was pretty astounding because I'll have to say, you had a nice monologue into it, and then it starts in the interview, and then it just takes a hard, and you just hear the brakes squeaking, and I was like, oh shit.
Yeah. So I mean, the full version of the clip that's online is like 7 minutes long.
Okay.
I'm not going to play that because I've also not watched that because, well, you know me, right? For the first, I did an advert that I've never watched the first series of MASH Report. I don't think I watched them until the end of them. I just couldn't stand watching myself. So it's awkward. And watching me on TV is awkward, but watching me suffer one of the most awkward interviews ever on TV is of course awkward. I made more people cringe through the TV than like all of the series of The Office. And at least that was fictional. Just, if you need some sphincter tightening, I got a clip for you. So this was a clip that they put on the internet. Someone's edited it down. And this is the short version of it. Even this makes me flipping. Anyway, so here's what happened when I was doing this interview thing.
When your own television station has engaged in correspondence with me where I explained that I'm in a position to be able to comment on this and mentioned that I'd been approached by Matt Hancock. I asked you not to mention that.
Well, I apologise that
anybody's tempted to take you seriously or your program seriously, here's a good reason not to.
In this moment, I can apologise for including that information, and I just need to know, you are, of course, and I would love to know your counters to any points that I made. if you would like to make them. I've just been given the actual email that you sent to my producer, which they'd like me to read out. As a courtesy to the lady who approached me to act for MH, Matt Hancock, I would be grateful if it was mentioned that he asked me to act for him. So it seems that you actually...
No, you're absolutely right that it's my mistake. I missed out the knot. I take all of that back. My abject apologies. You're right and I'm wrong. No, fair dues. I'm absolutely wrong about that. My apologies.
Oh, good, everything hurts. Oh.
That was... I mean, that's going to be a media moment that people are going to reflect on for a while, because he was, I mean, I was watching that and I hadn't known that, because I knew you'd done the show. And so I was watching it back as I was doing the dishes, as I often do when I come home from gigs, because that's rock and roll. That's life. That's what it's all about. And so I watched your monologue into it. I thought, nice lines in there. There's an audience for that gig or that show. And then when they came on and he's like, you weren't supposed to say that, I was like, oh man, the producers, poor Steve. Like, this is this is, you know, it's not a regular hosting gig for you. Oh, it's like, I mean, your gut must have just gone when that, well, how did you feel, Steve, in that moment?
I mean, not great. I don't know if that's a surprise. But so I had seen that email. I'd seen all the correspondence to prep for the guest.
Oh, you had? Okay.
I hadn't memorized that. But, you know, when you're just skimming through this is nothing to do with me, this is nothing to do with me. Right, this is his point. And I thought it was a really interesting point that he made. I was just trying to get back to it. So as soon as it's like when you trip up when you walk into a room, you're never going to regain any respect. It was that kind of thing. Like now, I started to get annoyed that it clearly just he wanted to spend all of his time just going over the error. Yeah. Like, we could stay or don't stay. Either way's fine. But I'm not having 10 minutes of you berating me for this error, which is not mine, because I'm just a replacement bus service host. Let's move on to the actual points. And that took a while. Because I didn't know that we were either in the right or the wrong. Because as I said, I'd skimmed past that bit.
Yeah. That's the producer's responsibility in a show.
I mean, no responsibility is mine. Look at me. Would you give, as a replacement host, they don't give me any responsibility other than try and read this out, please, and not look like an idiot. Read. I know what my job was, but.
And at what point, so then in the full thing, he then starts to answer the questions, and you guys are having a heated back, because he's got his backup, obviously. He's not happy with your monologue because you were critical of Matt Hancock. He's got no sense of humor at this point because he feels like he's been wronged. He sent an email. He was very clear about the parameters. You've just essentially breached journalistic protocols inadvertently. But at what point, because you've got the little thing in your ear.
Yeah.
What happened there?
So we weren't too far in, I suppose, until I got the first message in my ear that was, keep him talking, we're getting the email. And so I still didn't really know, but I kind of knew. Do you know what I mean? And I had to do the old doper rope thing. I just had to keep taking the hits, keep going at me, and at some point this is going to resolve well. And it's a shame, because I wish we could actually get onto that point. He was making some issue about it always being wrong to break a non-disclosure. But I'd almost got him to agree that some cases, even if I can't put that sentence together, there will be an example when it is okay. And now we're into something. It's a spectrum of when it's right, when it's wrong. Let's get into it. But he was just, and I don't want to be too harsh to the guy either, because half of his story is innocent. But the attitude is part of the problem, I suppose. But anyway, so I was told to basically keep him going, keep taking the hits, and then at some point get the email, read it out. And fair dues. I don't know if I would be that willing to apologize in that moment. I probably just would slam the laptop down and run out. So he wholeheartedly apologized, and it's just a shame that we'd used all the time because we couldn't go back to the discussion. We were out of time for it then.
With the smile on your face when he went, well, thank you very much.
Yep.
Bye-bye, motherfucker.
As if I'm ever that mean. But apparently...
It's very much one of these.
Apparently, according to my other half, because she saw the clip because, everyone at work was sending it to her, there's a moment in the long version where debating whether NDAs can ever be broken or not. And there's a moment when he said something and she recognized from our arguments the face that I pull that basically means, oh, I got your ass now. Apparently, I didn't realize I do that. I'm like, all right. Oh, no, I'll just wait for the end of this sentence because I don't want to be told off for interrupting because I'm going in. And that's the thing. He also did the thing of, and people should never do this if you're a guest, because it never plays well for you, saying, well, if you just let me finish, you're actually interrupting me, and then interrupting me. Like, then you can learn a lot about how this is played for him by looking at what's happened on social media. Loads of people were saying that, because it's hypocrisy. Don't tell people off for interrupting and then just keep trying to chip in there all the time. It's rude. I do have some responses, actually. So not only has it been in all those newspapers, it was in the Express, and I was looking through some of the comments. Some of the comments have been nice about the way that I stayed calm and polite through this barrage of an interview. And as I've been saying to some people, staying calm and listening during an angry, shouty row, where do you think I learnt those skills? Anyway, so I'm really good at them now. But in the Express, there's almost a compliment. In the comment section, wow, what a rant. I felt sorry for Steve. How he kept his cool until he read out the email was priceless. Love, Lewis. It reminds me of Eeyore. What? You looked... Oh, it was looking so good for me until all of a sudden I'm the stupid idiot donkey. That's as close to a compliment as I'm going to get, and I'm taking it. But still, whoa. Oh, that hurt. I didn't get a screenshot for another one, which I wanted to bring up. They've deleted the tweet before I could get to it, but I saw someone had replied to the station, probably to the lawyer, and also to Steve Allen from LBC saying, congratulations on the great presenting. How is it that he calls Gordon Ramsay's kids fat, and I get a weekend of being called ugly thanks to the error going the other way around, but I deal with a tricky lawyer and he's getting messages going, oh, I can't believe they got rid of you from LBC. What have I got to do to... I'll be able to check that some of my invoices haven't been paid into his bank.
But I think it's nice that you told me the lawyer's been in touch, right, and offered free legal services.
But I see it became a bit of an internet pile-on, though, kind of. I mean, not massively. Yeah. But there's no need for that, because it is just a typo. And I've done it. Well, I tend to spell the word not as now or now as not. That's an error, actually, when I say things like, I am now free to do it. And actually I said, I'm not free to do it, that kind of thing.
I think that someone who's a legal person like that, or in any industry, like, language is precise. It is in law, it is in comedy, and if you are saying something and being definitive about it, especially what you can and can't do and what you can and can't say, you should always commit to being exact in your words and be careful and proofread things and make sure that you're very clear about what you can and cannot do.
That's true, yeah. I mean, I know they said you couldn't do the show today, but I think actually I'm just being told in my ear that I can bring up the email where it's, hi, Steve, just to let you know that I really can do a show this week. Sorry about that. Oh, Eric.
Well, what can I say? That is my mistake, and
there's a lot of it going around. It's fine.
I apologize. If I could slap the laptop down, this is...
What I like about your email is that you say you can do it and then you apologise, and that just made sense. That scanned for me. Of course, he's sorry that we have to do another one of these. That just makes that. There's another comment I was going to throw up as well. Have I thrown this one up yet? I'm not. Have I? Look, no. A tweet that says, "When I first saw this, I thought it was the newsreader guy from the MASH report, and now, to be fair, it still does sound like him."
You will never be recognised for your work.
Not even recognised as me, but someone who goes, this guy looks a bit like this other guy and sounds a bit like this other guy. What a coincidence! Was
that Nish Kumar who posted that?
He's got better things to do to be watching my tweets. But so I thought that was nice. And someone else did, and this is true. And my point is, it shouldn't be an internet pile-on. He made an innocent mistake. Of course, as a lawyer, the word not can make a big difference. It's a 180 typo, isn't it? It's the difference between saying, Your Honour, my client is guilty. Too late. But internet pile-on, just a typo, we all do typos. But don't go in studs high. You know what I mean? My lesson for life is always, even if you think you've got the right to be this righteously indignant, angry ranter, just don't be. Just err on the side of not being, because it will save you from that kind of hubristic fall. And the times when it doesn't save you, it means you'll accidentally come across as a nicer person than you really are. That's why I sat there not being angry, because you're never going to be the one in the right if you're the angry one. That's the general thing. But so as much as I don't want this to be an internet pile-on and mocking, because, you must feel bad. We all feel bad. I feel terrible. And it's been hours since that happened and my bottom hasn't relaxed. But This is genuinely a screenshot of the front cover of a book that you can buy by that lawyer. Reputation Matters. How to protect your professional reputation. Come on, there's irony there. He can't mind that I did that joke.
I mean, to be fair, he was contacted to help, and he was willing to defend Matthew Hancock.
That's true.
Reputation matters.
Reputation matters. I mean, the thing is, he was right about my monologue. The thing that I did before it wasn't meant to be a legal argument putting forward genuine cases that would be tried in front of a court of law. They were jokes about Matt Hancock.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
And maybe he would have laughed at it if he hadn't been so incensed about thinking that his own privacy had been violated. Because I think in those moments, it's very hard for you to listen to a comedic monologue and go, that guy's really funny. And by the way, you dope-a-roped me.
Yeah.
Rope-a-doped. Dippy-dopped.
I dipped and dopped.
Dipped and swished, whatever the saying is.
Yeah.
But there you go. I think this could be, I mean, maybe it won't be quite as good as Concrete Grows as far as internet sensation.
Mm.
But I mean, this is one that people are gonna. It's gonna be a memorable moment in the old media landscape of the United Kingdom.
Yeah, yeah. At least I'm not remembered for some of the other stuff I've done now. That's that's helpful.
Some of the stuff we've done on this show. I mean, that's what it helps. Having such a bespoke audience that we have.
Mm. Oh, that was the other thing I was going to say. Remember how the last thing I was upset for was the Harry and Meghan song that I tweeted and got like 3 views. Someone just nicked and got 300,000. Same thing's happened here. The TV station tweeted it. It's got 600,000 views. You think, wow, that's impressive. Someone else just downloaded the video and tweeted it and has got 1.1 million. So you're right. The key is don't produce work, nick work. And it does seem to pay off.
And if someone would please nick this show, that would be amazing.
I mean, if you breach our copyright, we will try and sue you, but we will fail because you know which lawyer I'm going to try and get on this.
He owes you one.
He sent me a message saying he does not owe me one, which could mean anything.
Yeah. He might email someone who's nicked it and said, you did nick that. Or did not.
If he is
did not nick it.
Please sue the other Steve Allen, because it seems about fair that he should get some down on this deal rather than just the ups.
Yeah. He's the one that was on MASH Report, right?
Yeah, no wonder that person gets confused. Honestly, with this guy, it makes me think of the MASH Report. I wonder why that might be. Anyway, you're right. There's no point.
Well, there we go. So, well, this has been our first emergency media episode that we've commissioned, and there's pretty much the most, and we've covered the most important news story in the world right now.
It's been on the website. The Spectator did a thing on it, but I couldn't get a screenshot because of the way
Star.
the layout is. Yeah, I mean, I'm in the Daily Star, but not even naked again.
Yeah.
So,
but that guy who sleeps with sex dolls might notice you now.
Finally, we can get the interview. It's the interview that we've been looking forward to after all of this time.
Yep. This is your moment.
Yeah. To be taken as a serious journalist. I don't think I'm getting any closer to that.
Oh, dear. All right. Well, we will be back next Tuesday, unless Steve somehow manages to be more of a media sensation. Any other news stories planned this week? Should keep an eye on things.
No, I'm sure I'll never work again. That kind of vibe. I'm sure something will happen that means I'll never work again. I hope that guy's okay. Do you know what I mean? I hope, because if anything bad happens to that guy right now, that is the thing that would mean I'm never booked for anything. So if you're watching, good luck to you. We've all had tricky times online. I was on Julia Hartley Brewer's show and said something that got me hounded. Still does to this day. Yeah. So these things happen. Don't worry about it. You hang in there, buddy.
Last week we covered that Romanian guy who was in the shower when they turned on a Zoom call. You know, I'm frequently masturbating during this show. So.
Well, you live and learn, don't you? No wonder you could do this show at last minute notice. Put 20 minutes in the room on my own, kind of on your own. Yeah. Wow.
So there we go. All right.
But we
will be back next Tuesday, the Tuesday after that.
Whichever comes first.
Yes. Until then, keep an eye out for Steve on Media Matters.
Watch me being arrested for something, because I've upset a lawyer, so that's going to go well.
Yeah, no problems there.
Yeah.
All right.
So Beautiful. Thank you very much for tuning in. Tweet and whatnot. Ko-fi, don't forget about that. And until next time, bye. Thank you for watching this from Comic Solving Problems.
And if you feel like it, go ahead and like the video.
Or subscribe. Commitment.